Good evening. Hi there, it's Ingmar again. And I would like to continue our little starship scrolling game. And well, let's have a look at the intended outcome of today's session. There we are. We already implemented the stars in the front, and what I want to do now is to put this nebula in the background. So, okay, let's switch to the state where we left off the last time. I'll switch to my sketches, and there's the starfield sketch. And now let's have a look at this. We will see that the stars are moving from the top to the bottom, and somewhere here in the future will be our starship, and we'll be able to maneuver it through this little game, and our enemies or asteroids or whatever will come from the top. Now, how do we get the image in the background? Well, first of all, we need, of course, the astrophoto, and there is a database with images from the ESA, the European Space Agency, and one of the images posted there is this image by Hubble, and luckily this is licensed under the Creative Commons license 4.0, and attribution is required, and I attributed this right now verbally, but I'll also write it into the code later on, so that should be okay. And I'll just download it with a right click on the image and say save image as. So right there on the desktop, Hubble celebrates 31st birthday, yada yada yada. Okay, I say save. And now we've got, well, I certainly downloaded it several times for this video, but if we have a look right now, we'll see there it is in the Finder. And once I double click it, there is the preview opening it up under macOS. If you're using Windows or Linux, you'll have similar image viewers and editors, I guess. Okay, now we've got one little problem. The file we're seeing here is, well, let's see. Okay, 242 kilobyte on disk is not that big, but the size doesn't fit our dimensions of the sketch. So we need something, or I need something rather, yeah, well, a square format, something like that. And I will go here, select the rectangular selection, hold the shift key, and I'll just get some 400 by 400 pixel big slice of this image, something like that. So now I'll just say crop, and well, maybe that's a bit, let's have another portion of the image. Right, close this again, and I'll return to the Finder. Right there, there's some strange quirk over there. Well, let's have some bigger portion of it and scale it down afterwards. So this is a square, and now I'll just say crop, and after that I'll just scale it down to 400 times 400 pixels, so this will fit nicely into our sketch. Okay, there we got the image. I'll save it, and now I will include this asset into the, well, web editor at p5gs.org, and this can be done like that. I'll switch to my sketch. We can stop this now, and you'll see this little arrow here, the I think not my cursor, but the arrow on the screen. If I click on that, there will be a list of files displayed on the left. We already seen that when we created the starfield.js sketch file and the CSS sketch file. And now what I'll do is I will upload a file, and that will be well, yeah, of course, my modified version of this little astrophotographic image. So there it is. We've got the image right here. And now, well, how do we display it in the background? Or how do we display it at all? There is a reference to this at p5js.org. There is a function called image, which does display images, but that alone won't do. We first need to load or to preload the asset, and that is done with a separate function called preload. We can just copy and paste this part of the example code. I just go with that and include it into my sketch. So right here, just for experimental purposes. So we'll have a new variable img. We'll have a function preload, and that preload function right now looks for a JPEG which doesn't exist, so this has to go. And instead of this file path that has been there, I just need to put the file path to the JPEG file. I just upload it right there, and since it's lying in the same folder, I just need the file name, and that I'll get from my local file system. I'll just copy this and put it right here for testing purposes. So now what happens when this code runs? Well, certainly the setup function is declared twice, so this can't continue. I will cut the image, this line over here, and I'll remove the setup that I copied from the documentary, and then I'll include it in the setup at the last point. So right there. Well, on second thought, let's move it even further down the line right here, so it gets just drawn over everything else. My expectation would be that we'll now see only the image. Now let's have a look at the code. We declare a new variable called img. In the preload function, the browser or p5.js will try to load this image and will fail unless I add JPEG at the end of it. We need the full name or full path of the image relative to the sketch file, and this will store the image into our newly declared variable img. So now we've got an image object right there, and what we need to tell p5.js later on in the draw method is that it needs to display this image object, which does which is accomplished by using the image function and telling it where to place it with these two numbers, which is the x and y position of the image object. Now, let's see what happens when we press play, and right there it is, sitting, doing nothing, and no stars moving. That will need to change. So one method to change the order would be simply to cut this out and put it right after the background is redrawn, and put the line right there, like this. Now I'll stop the sketch, I'll restart the sketch, and there we see our stars, but we've got a little problem because, well, it looks like all these stars have kind of a black border around them. So this is not intended. I need to change this. Let's have a look at the method where our stars are drawn. This is within the starfield.js. I'll just stop the animation for now, and I go into starfield.js. Here's our star class, and within the star class we will find draw fill this color. This is nice. The problem is that there's still a border drawn around the star. And I need this border to be, well, either to disappear completely or to have the same color as the fill. And this will be, well, let's see, I think it's stroke, or is it, well, I have to have a look at the documentation. Where is it? Examples. I just have a little Google session, P5JS stroke transparency. That looks interesting. Stroke, okay. Yeah, all right. So that would be it. But I'd like to define some kind of opacity. Would I be able to do this? RGBA looks good. So something like that. I'll just copy this line of code, defining the stroke color with percentage in each color channel and a 0.5 alpha channel. So this is the opacity, and this needs to be 0 for the stroke. Or could we have just a no stroke? Does something like that exist in P5JS? I'm not sure. No stroke. Oh, looks like it. No stroke. There it is. Yep, that's even better. So let's take this. No stroke. So there it is. We are setting the fill color. We're saying, hey, we don't want anything around our stars right there. And now we'll draw it again and we see, that's nice. Still looks a bit like snow. I think we've got to work on this, but the black borders around our stars are gone, and they're just moving steadily from the top to the bottom. Now we've got another problem, which is the whole thing is a bit too bright, I think. Well, I want to imply that there's depth right there, and so I'd like to dim the background image. And I'd like to do that by either putting a dark transparent layer on top of it, or by displaying it in a transparent mode in the first place. So let's see how we can do this. Go back to our sketch, stop the animation right now because it's a bit irritating maybe. And we see now here's the image. And then the stars are drawn, and the background, well, there's of course, the background. Now, how can we do this? Let's have another short Google session, P5JS image transparency. And there we go. So obviously something like that is possible. I guess it's a separate function, and there's some kind of tint. Okay, tint, is that really what I want? Display at half opacity. Interesting, okay. Well, since the comment says this changes the image transparency, I'll just put it in front of our image statement, and then I guess it will have the same effect in our sketch. Let's do this here. Copy it over there and start. So now, okay, this is much closer to what I wanted to see. Now we've got a nice background image. The stars are still moving in front of it, and well, it's somehow all sitting there in our sketch.js, and we will be moving the code to another file, and I'll create this right here on the left side in the column sketch files, and say, okay, I would like to have a background file, background.js or .js. So let's have the background.js file, add file. So, and I'll move the new code right there. maybe creating a new class, a background image or something like that. Let's say class background image. So that's it. We've got a constructor, and we will pass our path to the image to this constructor. Path to background image, and the path will be stored in a field within this object, this path to background image, and we'll store the parameter we just passed to the constructor like this. Okay, this is the line break isn't that beautiful, but well, yeah. So let's move it around. And now we need two methods. Methods are functions that are, or sort of functions that belong to the object, that will be instantiated from that class. And since we need a preload and we need a draw, these are the names of my two methods that I want to create. First is our preload, so void preload. I'm thinking Java ways, sorry. So now this is just preload, and I want this sketch to load my new image into a local variable inside the object, and I'll declare this right here, this image object, which is null at the point of instantiation, and then we will later on, once preload is called, load this image from the file. So this dot image object becomes whatever is returned by load image, and then we pass the load image function the parameter that has been given to the constructor. So we need this dot path to background image. Okay. Now if I put that in the global preload function, my expectation would be that the image object is loaded from the file and then stored in the field of the object. And if I call draw on that object, I would like this image object to be drawn, and we already got the code for that. That is within our sketch.js. These two, they got to go. They got to be moved right there. Maybe I should rename the file. It's a bit, I think background.js isn't that brilliant because we've got a background function. So I just call this background image. That's fine. Now it has the same name as the class that is contained, and that should be fine. So of course the name of the image object is wrong. This will be image object within this class. So get this straight. Okay, this should be fine. And now I will use this class in my sketch.js. So, okay. Now what I still need is a field right there, but it won't be called image or img, which is much too, well, unspecific. I'll just say, okay, background image. And this background image can be instantiated immediately. Well, should I do this? Well, I'll do this. Okay, come on. New background image, and we'll pass the path to our image right there. Okay, that's fine. And now we just call background image preload within the regular preload function, or the global preload loop, or whatever you would call that. Well, it's not the loop. Yeah. Okay, second part is that we want to draw the background image. Same idea as with the star fields. We just call the draw method right there before the star fields are drawn on top of it. Okay, I'm really looking forward to executing this. Still have the feeling that I forgot something. Well, let's see and try. Maybe there'll be some error messages. Okay, let's go. Okay, background image is not defined. Sketch line 4. I guess I have to include this in the index. Yeah, of course. So is it? We need to add another line to our HTML, which will be, of course, background image. Okay, we've got another problem here, or not really a problem, but I'd like to keep the spelling of my files consistent, so I'll make it uppercase, and then I have to rename this file again and say, okay, let's have this called background image with a capital B at the beginning. Okay, so this should do the trick, or at least remove the first error message, and there we go. Works. Fine. So, well, yeah, I hope this was somewhat helpful, or maybe you had the chance to see how to include an image into your own sketch. And yeah, well, see you next time. Bye.